Well, my name's John Evans. I'm running because I figured Diane has did a good job, and I'd like to carry on that tradition of the status quo and have various ideas for improving Duluth. They're just looking around at it. I worked for the city of Brooklyn Park on their audit. Additionally, I was on the CDBG board, Community Development Block Grant. And that kind of takes care of most of the qualifications.
Talk about your ideas for improving Duluth that you just mentioned.
Probably work on the infrastructure. I mean, the city's main goal should be infrastructure for the sewer and water lines, police department, fire department, parks and rec, and planning.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, those are basic departments they have. So they should continue to improve on those areas, and Public Utilities Commission. So I think the utilities need to be worked on. In fact, most of them are being worked on right now.
Okay.
If you go from up and down many of the streets. So.
How long did you work in Brooklyn Park?
About 6 months.
That seems like a pretty short time. Was it just a contract?
Yeah, just a contract.
Oh, a contract. Okay. So you're a auditor by trade?
Auditor, accountant.
Auditor, accountant. Okay.
Yeah. CPA.
Sure. Okay. You mentioned Don Ness right away and his administration and the good job that he's done. Do you think your tenure, if you're elected mayor, would be kind of a departure or really a continuation of kind of the direction he has us going? Or how do you see yourself different and the same?
Mostly a continuation of what's going on right now. Additionally, there's probably plans that I could discuss with different departments. That may or may not be out of line. I mean, there's we have skywalks, but we could kind of put like a roof over some of these alleys and make them, pedestrian walkways.
Uh-huh.
They're going to rebuild Spears Street. Mm-hmm. We have to determine whether or not we want bricks or back to cement or whatever. I'm not sure which one I agree with right now, but take a look at the cost advantages.
Okay. I'm sorry, go back to the roofs over alleyways. Why would you put a roof over an alley?
Oh, it would protect, I mean, the water.
Close it to traffic and open it to pedestrians, is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Or pedestrians. And it puts a covering over the street, and we can direct the water. You can direct the water whichever way you need to be. Sure. It seems that we have a water problem. We're not quite sure what to do with the rainwaters.
Sure. It sounds like your main focus or your main priority would be core services, fire, police, things like that. Excuse me, I'm sorry. The downtown library, last year there was a report that said it needs tens of millions of dollars, maybe of either repairs or needs to be rebuilt. What do you think should be done with the downtown library?
I'm not quite sure. I like where it's at. I like the structure. I like the visual impact it has. I think repairing it would be good. I also went to Central High School, and the architect that built that one has always had bad luck with leaky roofs, and so if they would have built that right, I think that would have solved the problem. Sure. I think rebuilding the library would be good in the same spot, and I mean with Central, what concerns me is that we put $11 million worth of improvements in infrastructure to go up there, mm-hmm. and we built a school, but now somebody's going to buy it for $1 million. I mean, basically because the infrastructure is already put in there.
Yeah, someone's going to get a good deal, I think, probably. But going back to core services, of course, the city of Duluth lost the share of casino revenues that we used to get from the Fond du Lac Band. How can Duluth pay, or how should Duluth be paying for ongoing street maintenance, sewer, water pipes, things like that you mentioned?
Well, I think we should tear up the road around the casino. No, no. I think that's a tough decision right now.
Mm-hmm.
we do need to pay for what we have. One idea that I had thought of was like putting a monorail the longest distance in Duluth, which is from downtown up to the airport.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so that, and then the buses just run to the middle of the monorail, and then, you know, if you stack them up, you're not worried about right-of-ways. You don't have to worry as much about right-of-ways.
Mm-hmm.
You own the streets, so it'd be one way of solving some of the problems.
That's an interesting idea.
Less traffic on the streets.
Right.
The other problem I seem to find is that when I'm looking around on 3rd Street, lumber trucks go right on down the road, and I don't know if there's a problem with them going on the freeway or going on Duluth streets.
Interesting. But I'm sorry, what kind of trucks?
Lumber trucks.
Lumber.
Log trucks.
Yeah. Pole
I think
trucks.
you're talking about the loggers.
Yeah.
Well, and that has been an issue. You're absolutely
Yeah.
right. So, because they're forced off the freeways. So,
Why are they forced off the freeway? Do you know?
but federal rules, especially on Superior Street, they are.
Weight limit rules.
You mentioned Fond du Lac Band. I know you were just joking with what you said, but talk about the relations between the city and the band in light of the casino revenue court cases, and how important is it to mend those fences, or should they be, or how can they be?
I think it's important to mend the fences. Not only do they provide the Duluth with some of the revenue through the sales tax, they're there, and we're going to have to live with them, I think. They own the Carter Hotel. We have some leverage on that. And I think I'd like to meet with Karen Diver and find out where we could go from there.
Yeah.
I was reading an article in Popular Science, which I'd come up with a couple ideas years ago, that they take a pod and put on a mag lift and just shoot it down the freeway, and at 750 miles an hour, we could give them some rights of way to go to Black Bear, so they have transit to Black Bear, and in lieu of that, we could negotiate for rights from them for using certain federal land or railroad train land.
It's a very interesting idea. Do you think it would work? You're saying that you've heard of this working?
By
The transit?
750 miles.
Yeah.
Yeah, or monorail would work.
Okay.
There's different ways of doing it. I mean, I'm not a scientist, but there are ways to either put oil on the track or plastic, or
Yeah.
less friction that you have, the faster you can make it go.
Okay.
So
Last couple of years, the city has hosted housing summits and identifying a need for both affordable housing and workforce housing for kind of the lower or upper middle income type of professionals. Do you agree that there's a housing shortage, or is Duluth addressing it, or what do we need to do there?
I think there is actually a housing shortage, and I think we're addressing it with the Steve O'Neill apartments, Firehouse apartments. That's taking care of the poor income. They're opening up new places in Lakeside. So we are addressing it. What I'd like to see is some infield housing, where the vacant lots are.
Right.
We could put houses right in there. Just dig a basement, drop a house on top of it. So.
That for affordable housing, you mean, or?
Yeah, for affordable, affordable housing. It's like we try and put the poor and moderate income families together. I mean, if I wanted to, I want to live with the rich and moderate, families. Depends on what you want. I mean,
Sure.
I went to Central because it was a diverse community. I've lived 8 blocks away from East, but 3 miles from Central, so I'd walk to Central every day. So
It's a long walk.
yeah,
You grew up in Duluth then?
yeah.
Okay.
I moved here when I was 5.
Okay. Tourism taxes comes up occasionally, the subsidies from the tourism taxes for the aquarium, for Spirit Mountain, things like that. Do you think the way our tourism taxes are being spent is adequate or is proper? Or?
I don't know how clear and proper it is. All I know is that when I go to McDonald's, I think it's going to be, you know, $2 and it's $2.20 because the tax is on all food
Right.
and all beverages. So I just kind of take it as it is, you know, and that's the way they figure out how much tourism there is in the city.
That's
It's
right.
based on that.
How much the taxes are generating?
How much in hotel taxes?
Mm-hmm.
Hotel taxes?
Looking for next year's a bonding year at the state legislature. Do you have any idea? Have you given any thought at all to what Duluth's priorities might be?
Well, I guess, you know, some way to move people up the hill
Mm-hmm.
would be one way. I mean, I see people struggling to, you know, walk up that hill. And if you had, you know, like, you know, tourist town, the Metro Center they're building, 4th Street and 8th Street, people could get pushed up the hill and, you know, it'd be easier for them. We don't have a lot of, you know, people having heart attacks walking up the hill.
We used to have an incline railway. Are you thinking maybe something like that? Or?
Yeah, but more like a monorail or
Yeah, okay.
or chairlift, or no, not a chairlift, but something like that.
All right. Anyone else have any? John?
No.
In closing, John, just kind of tell us, why do you think folks should support you in September and again in the general election?
Well, I've pretty good grasp of most of the issues. I've lived in Duluth. My father taught at UMD for 40 years.
Okay.
And my mother's been very active in various groups. So.
Very good. And why did you decide to run for mayor? Why did you think that, hey, I think I should be the next mayor?
Not for $20, I can't go wrong.
The filing fee, yeah.
Yeah. That's kind of why. I mean,
Yeah.
I at least want to get my ideas out there.
Okay.
You know, see what we can do to improve on it.
Right.
Even if I win or lose, the ideas get out there. And
Sure.
and I believe Duluth has one person in every area that can answer a question. I mean, I'm struggling trying to get a website put up. Now, if I can get a website put up, I'll know how to build a website.
Sure.
And I want to build a website that asks a lot of questions. So even if I don't win, I gain the knowledge of building a website, what it's like to be in a straw poll or political, but bonanza. I'm just a type B personality, so I just like to win.
Very good.